Alpine Touch has been a staple of Montana for nearly 8 decades. Folks around the Treasure State have been putting Alpine Touch's world-famous all-purpose seasoning on their steaks and burgers for longer than most of us have been alive. The holidays are coming up. If you want to knock everyone's socks off, be sure to pick up some Alpine Touch Cold Smoke Rub for the best flavor for your Thanksgiving turkey or your Christmas prime rib. Alpine Touch comes in the mail right to your door. Just visit alpinetouch.com. Alpine Touch, Montana's special spice.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town Pump. Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, needless to say, beyond proud, of this group, and I think our continued fight that was not easy by any means today. I think South Dakota, hats off to them. That's a really good outfit, offense, defense. I think us coming out and scoring and setting the tone was certainly something. But they answered back. And I think we got in that second half, and that's where the true meaning of this team, I think, continued to show up, making, I think, just enough plays in every which way. And, I think we walk away from that game feeling like that was a team victory. That was a team win against a really good team. And it was, I think we did, obviously, I think enough on offense. I would have certainly loved for us to be a little more effective in the fourth quarter offensively. But when you have a couple score lead, those are challenging times. And I know defensively, just continuing to go after them. And we had a heck of a time with Tice, a heck of a time. So credit to him. And that was something I think we anticipated that he was going to be one of the better players that we've seen all year. But ultimately, we got them in long yard situations. I think playing their offense down in the Sonny Holland zone was critical at the end. They put a couple balls on the ground. Our crowd made a difference. There's no doubt about it. You get to this point in home field. Home field, a place like ours really matters. And I think wherever our edge came from, I know that was part of it. And I think about special teams, and we haven't needed Brendan to be in that position where turning over the field was going to be a big piece to his impact. Now he did that, and then some. I'm just looking at 5 for 54 average, and they got good returners, and those are critical situations. So it took everything. It took a solid offensive performance. A defense that hung in there and made big plays when it needed to, and obviously the special teams component to make a real difference. So, going to be more proud of this group, these seniors. We sat in here last December and we had an abrupt end to that season, and I know that that motivated this group intently, and we went to work back in January. And then we're going to be able to finish that journey in the next January. So that's pretty special. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
It was a game like you guys haven't really been in before this year. So what did you think of your guys' ability to sort of handle that and finish that?
Yeah, I think that's what you should expect this time of year, and I think we've had some moments, certainly being down, but that was way back in August to New Mexico. I think we've been able to get ourselves kind of out of those situations, whether it was tie game at Eastern or I even think back to Idaho State, them closing that lead, or certainly the end of the Davis game. But that was a different game where it was field position, it was all of that. It was the defense hanging on. It was offense. Didn't stay on the field, but at least got the ball out of the end zone there. And we just kept going after them and didn't quit. And ultimately, found a way.
Seen a lot of crazy Tommy runs, the 41-yarder. Maybe not the craziest, but what was your
it might be the craziest. Yeah, we're just trying to get a yard. I think it was 3rd and 1 there, and we haven't had Aaron snaps, or he's been able to handle them. He wasn't able to handle that. We got a think a fortuitous bounce there. And, if he's not the most impactful player in our division, I know we're going to see the other one down in Frisco, and a good settle on the field, I suppose. But I know, Tommy does so much for us, and that play, the unscripted, the competitive nature. I mean, he certainly could have went down in that play. Somehow he kept his balance, and I'm sure they were wondering what the heck just happened.
I'm wondering if, from your vantage point, the fact that the ball was on the ground for a split second improve the timing of the play, because the middle just opens up.
Yeah, anytime something like that happens, I think everybody reacts unlike they should, relative to a defensive call. And there's good fortune that he was able to handle that, I think, and have the sense about him to just go forward. That's the only way. He knew we needed a yard, and so yes, I mean sometimes those things happen that way, and we were beneficiaries, I suppose, of what you're talking about, just that off timing.
You mentioned the crowd noise kind of when they were going for fourth down in the red zone, but just talk about the playmaking of Simeon and Tate and those guys to get us fourth down stuff.
Yeah, I thought we really defended the pass well. I think about their yards came on underneath checkdowns. We did not give them the home run, and they were going after the home run over and over again. So I know that's credit to the defensive staff, the calls. It's credit to the execution players, and then we got ourselves in some one-on-ones and were able to make those plays and really challenge them. I know they made that one play to the tight end over on their sideline. That was maybe as down the field as they got. Otherwise, they were short catches and runs. So, I walk away thinking we obviously could have tackled better, but I knew tackling Tice in particular was going to be a challenge, and we needed it all. We need to be able to defend the pass and really not. Their long was 24. I think that was definitely a thing. We can't let them have the explosive pass, and that's credit to our coaches. It's credit to our secondary. It's credit to the pressure.
There was such a finality to this game for so many of your best players that are seniors. So how'd you get them prepared just emotionally for this moment?
Well, I think just talking about, guys, we've, let's look at it. We've maxed out our opportunities here. Let's not get too sentimental. We want another game on the other side. So what you've done is you've created every possible opportunity in the 24th season to play in front of this crowd. Certainly soak it all in, but know that there's a bigger prize out there that we're after, and I think this group gets that part, and continues to live play to play, moment to moment. I'm sure there was emotions for those guys, but they didn't let those emotions overtake them. We've been able to battle emotions, I think, in a lot of our games, especially down the stretch here, and it's okay to play with some passion though too. So being able to draw that passion out of that emotion is what you try to steer them in that direction. I think they did a great job of that.
And Tommy in particular seemed to really thrive off of the emotion. I mean, he had the home run celebration after the first touchdown.
Yeah. No, I think he realizes what this stretch we're in is for him, and truly taking in the moment and enjoying it and playing his tail off for sure, competing like crazy, but enjoying it. And I hope all our guys took that in. That was pretty special today. That environment. I know with all these FBS games being played on college sites, they're getting a flavor of what that was today. It was amazing, and we needed the crowd and our guys. You work all those hours to put ourselves in a position to do what we did, and meaning the home field advantage, and it all worked out.
You had a different 31-17 win here 3 years ago, set up another title game against North Dakota State. So how would you kind of compare and contrast these moments?
Well, we went into the playoffs that year as an 8 seed, coming off a loss, changing quarterbacks, kind of got on a run there. I think this team and I think we're just in a different place in the program, I guess. I do think that team changed our expectations, that we we can do it. We can make it all the way. But I think this team is different. I think this team is better equipped for this time of year. So, yeah, the fact that the score was the same and it was a South Dakota team, I think there's some similarities there. But beyond that, I think we're a different team. And you know what? We're a different team in large part because of that team and what they went through and to some degree coming up short in Frisco that year, and then coming up short in Brookings the next year, and coming up short last year. I think all those we have, plenty of ups, but those downs have put us in this position where this group is not going to leave stone unturned.
When you say different, what do you think are the biggest differences?
Well, I think we're more experienced, we're more balanced. I think we're better up front. That's probably would be the top one. I think we're better up front on both sides of the ball, but I say that we still have an explosive nature about us. So if I could say, hey, we're just more well-rounded. I think we can do it in different ways, and that's not to take anything away from that 21 team. It is not by any means. I think we're, you go in as the number one seed and all, every opportunity in front of you. It's a different world. It's a different mindset than being the 8 seed like we were down there.
Can I ask you about the Pierre touchdown, because it kind of looked like it caught everybody by surprise, kind of a wing tee like what?
Yeah, they had a bunch look, I know, and I think they brought a motion guy behind. I think we had a pressure on, so we were moving. Challenging fit, I think, for Drew is what I would say it. Drew as a free safety was the free hitter in that situation, and really didn't, angle-wise, it didn't really fit. So, yeah, we gave up that run, and certainly the 55-yarder before that with Tice, that was a matter of us missing tackles and a credit to who he was. But we gave up those two. That's 90 yards combined on 2 rushes, and then they end up with 135. So I think we sorted through some things. It wasn't that he still made some plays, but we didn't give up the big play after that Pierre run.
I know they kind of closing out the second half, but the first half you guys really controlled time of possession. It's really long scoring drives against just lots of comfort.
Well, I think just being able to set the tone with that first drive, critical. They follow us up with the score. To be able to score again, be able to score before the half, and we got a field goal. I would love to get a touchdown there, but I think just eat the rest of that clock up and go up. What was it? It was 24-14 to go up 10 at that point. I think that piece, just closing the half out there on a good note with points, was very important. And time of possession, I think we were 20 plus in that first half. So, that's partly because we gave a couple big plays too. So I don't know. I think I felt like we were wearing on them, but credit to them. I that didn't really play out in the rushing game like, I hoped it probably would in the fourth quarter. So I think that is credit to them. And you're up a couple scores. We were just trying to bring it home, but ultimately we were able to do that.
The last 8 minutes was so interesting to watch, right? Because you got multiple 4th down stops. You can see the whole coaching staff kind of looking how much time's left. When Brody finally gets the last fumble recovery, though, what was that sort of release like for you guys?
Yeah, I think we're there. After we had to punt again, I felt good. We're up 14. They were under 2, no timeouts. Really felt good about that situation. In a situation up a couple scores that we were. You learn, right? We were in that situation against Davis, and so I felt really confident, I guess, is my point. And then, to have it end in one play and we get the ball back, that was a better way than being stressed out anymore. But I knew they had to pull out the bag of tricks there, and fortunately for us, that play didn't work.
And Brody, I know he's not 100% right now, but just the minutes he's giving you, the snaps he's giving you, what do you think of this?
Yeah, going in, I think he was maybe as healthy as he's been in a while, but that was a grind for him today. It appeared, and being able to, just continue to go. He's the definition of relentless on our defense. I know he's not the only one by any means, but just how he continues to go after it. And I didn't play through, different things through the course of this season. And really, no different than Tommy, really cherish what we're in the midst of and want to take it as far as we can, which we have now. And this isn't going down there to Frisco to win a football game. Clear. I mean, that's as clear as I can say it. And we need to prepare like crazy over the next couple of weeks. But that's, I think this team's positioned to think that way and go do that.
Brody was a player, I think, a couple of years ago that mentioned, we need to get more physical after the loss to South Dakota State. And now you guys play an MVS team that looks pretty physical. Do you feel like this is going to help you out a lot going into this next game?
Well, you look at the three teams, and obviously we looked at South Dakota playing both of the Dakota States the last week, and they all beat each other. They're all cut out of a pretty similar cloth. South Dakota doesn't have this playoff experience, maybe this big game experience, but just how they're built and how they operate is very similar. And that's offense and defense. That's built from the kind of the inside out, and so beating South Dakota doesn't guarantee us anything going down and playing North Dakota State, but I do think again we are in a different place than we were back in 22 and 21 for that matter when we match up against these teams. And I know we're going to have to play extremely well. We're going to have to prepare like crazy over the next couple of weeks to put ourselves in position. But I think that we're going to go down there with a team that's going to fight and be right in the fight.
Good.
Are you paying too much in taxes? Elevated Tax and Accounting is a firm that specializes in tax planning and strategy to minimize your tax bill. Elevated Tax consult with you on tax strategy throughout the year, so no more waiting until the end of the year and hoping for the best. As a business owner, you know your sole focus should be spent working on your business, not in it. Outsourcing gives you the time to concentrate on the core reasons you started your company, to create and innovate a top-tier product and generate profits. Elevated Tax and Accounting, elevating you and your business with a modern professional touch.
Right, Firewood. I guess take us through that touchdown you had with the fumbled snap and everything. Take us through what you were seeing there.
Yeah, they changed up a little bit of their defense. Just a little bit out of my reach there, and then you got to play ball. So, Scott Trey, he was obviously supposed to get the ball, and he did a good job of continuing to play, and he got a huge block there on the backside. And there's just a hole, so just make a play.
A lot of Taco Dowler early. So how much do you think that sort of set the tone for you guys?
Yeah, he's a stud. So we got to find ways every single week to get him the ball, and I think we've done a really good job of that. Early on, we had a lot of opportunities, and he was the receiving end of those. So it was pretty special. He's a great guy. I love him. So it was exciting to see his success today.
You guys put the ball around a lot early in the first half. You were running it a lot. Ty had a few plays, a fake reverse, things like that. How much was that game plan stuff, or just kind of the course of the game that you guys were trying to get it in different guys' hands?
Yeah, we have a lot of playmakers. This team's very deep. We got to be able to spread them. The 53 and a third, and in vertical as well. And ultimately, I think we did a good job. A lot goes to Coach Walker there, getting us ready, having a great scheme, getting us prepared that way, and then obviously going out there and guys, being ready and taking in this moment and enjoying it and going and making plays.
What can you say about your offensive line, not just today, but this entire season? Everything stems from them, just the credit you can give them.
Yeah, they're the backbone of our offense. Everyone knows that, and everybody knows that we run the ball, and they show up every single week and refuse to let a team stop us. So, those guys, I just am so appreciative of them. They're a group that loves each other. They love this team. They sacrifice, as much as anybody, and I couldn't be more grateful for them.
Obviously, in 2021, you guys won the semifinal 31-17, playing North Dakota State. I guess have you thought at all just the full circle nature of this, and going back to Frisco as a senior now?
Yeah, it's absolutely a blessing to keep playing football into January, and that's what we're all about here at Montana State. That's what we've been about here for 4 years. We came up short there 2 years ago, and obviously last year didn't go the way we wanted to, but we're back to where we belong, and that's what we're all about.
In that 2021 game, you had twice as many carries than you did today. Still obviously a season high today. So he just takes through the running and compare and contrasting your performance 3 years ago and this one today.
Yeah, I mean, it's night and day, I'd have to imagine, and most people for sure will notice that as well. And it's just that, when I was a freshman going in there, it was overwhelming. It was too much for me. It really was. And so, ultimately what we did was we were able to get the ball in my hands, and I was just trying to make plays the entire game. But we have a lot of other guys that are able to distribute the ball now too, and we're able to hand it off and sit behind them, get the push of the offensive line and make plays with that +1 run game. When you just catch it and run, it can get very physical, and there's a lot of impact, and that's ultimately why I haven't been able to finish the past 3 seasons our last game. And so it's just a blessing to be healthy at this point in the season, and just continuing to have our offense just be successful.
The final home game for you seniors, just when you were sharing that moment on the field in this locker room, can you kind of take us inside this senior group and what this last one meant at Bobcat Stadium?
Yeah, we obviously knew it was going to come at some point. We put ourselves in a position because of our regular season to play it out here, and we knew that home field advantage, that's one of our staples downstairs. That's what we preach, and ultimately got that. And we, just a testament to the entire team doing everything they possibly can to give us every opportunity we can at Bobcat Stadium this season. And so it's just been an absolute blessing to play for those fans, play for the state, play in Bozeman, and those fans are just rocking today. So so appreciative of them and for the what they've done for us and what they've done for the senior class.
Coach Vigen said on Monday that Brody, he has no doubt his mind's going to go down as an all-time great. To see him get that fumble, final one, Bobcat Stadium, what was that moment like, and how do you kind of describe what he means to this program?
Yeah, Brody's a stud. I think that he is just a wrecking ball out there, and when I watch from the sideline, they always have a guy chipping them, and they're pass setting. They do certain things just to make it extremely difficult on him, and he's the focus of every single offense. And so, it's a testament to how he takes care of his body day in and day out, so he can be out there on Saturday and be successful, and just how he's prepared his entire life. And he's just a stud. I love that guy, and I'm excited to be able to play another game with him.
Getting in a game like this where you got a whole bunch of resistance, I mean, that was a tough team that you guys just played. So what was that like for you guys, since you've been in so many of these games where you guys have just taken care of business in such lopsided fashion?
Yeah, every game always starts 0-0, so we always have to earn that right to blow a team out, and we obviously were able to do that. But every game certainly starts with that opportunity at 0-0, and you got to go out there and play. And so I suppose to some extent we played in halves and three quarters of tight football games, and ultimately we've been successful there to blow teams out. I'm with you, but I think we just our team's built for 4 quarters of football, for 60 minutes, and that's what we're all about. I had no doubt in my mind when we got to that 4th quarter. Our offense had kind of sailed out there a little bit at the end of the 3rd, and that we were going to be able to be the difference. Our defense was going to get stops, and guys were going to be able to play all 60 minutes and get us that win.
In a game where field position is so important, how big is it to have a weapon like Brendan Hall who can flip the field like that?
Yeah, it's invaluable. That guy is, he's just got an absolute bazooka for a leg. It's unbelievable. We see it every single day at practice. Fortunately, we haven't really punted a whole lot, and when we've been in good situations where he doesn't have to, let it loose. But, I think all of, the entire country got to see what he's all about when we, when he lets that thing go.
Can you pinpoint a moment this season when you guys knew you had something special going?
I think that it probably goes back all the way to January last year, just how hungry we were when we first got back. If you want to talk about within the season, I think that New Mexico game was very, was a staple of what we were all about here, and just kind of got that ball rolling. We finished last season with 2 losses, and being able to, build up and grow the entire offseason and come back and they go play New Mexico, be down 17, twice, and to go and find a way to win, it's just a testament to what we've done in the offseason and how different we were this season.
You mentioned the overwhelming nature of the game 3 years ago. I remember you crying after the game ended or at the end. How did you feel this time? What was kind of the last moments of this game?
Yeah, back in 21, I never really thought about what was beyond any of the games. It was, we really, shoot, I don't know if we should really be here. And so when we just kept winning, it was like, wow. I mean, like our defense was just unbelievable, but on offense, it was just kind of like, just unrealistic, crazy plays were just happening over and over and over again, and somehow we were able to keep winning games. So I never really thought of what was beyond that semifinal game against South Dakota State back then. So when I sat there and I actually realized that we were going to a national championship game, it was, it was overwhelming. And like I said, well, it was overwhelming because I was just so happy, and it was like, wow, I want to do everything I possibly could to help those seniors get as many games as they possibly could. And so, when we ultimately made it all the way, it was very, I just had a lot of love in my heart, and it was overwhelming with it in that way. So yeah.
I think every college senior wants their last year to be a special one. The fact that it's gone this way, how would you describe what that's meant to you?
Yeah, it's a blessing, certainly, as you just talked about. Everyone has the idea that their senior year they go and play in the national championship game and they ultimately win it. And I think that it's certainly a blessing to be able to do that with this group of guys who's battled so much over these last 4.5 years, and so yeah, it's unbelievable. And we're excited to get another opportunity.
And another opportunity against North Dakota State. Just kind of excited to face them.
Yeah, I can't wait to play them.
All right, we done with Tommy?
First of all, let's just start with the history of Five Valleys Restoration. How did you get into this? How did you come up with this?
So actually, in 1996, I went to work for a company called Restorex of Montana in Sidney, Montana.
Wow.
I was working for my folks as a high school kid, and I got fired by my dad. So I was playing Babe Ruth baseball, Legion baseball, and I couldn't do both, and I couldn't work and play baseball. So I came to work one day, and my dad said, "You're fired." But then he said, "You also have to have a job." And so that, of course, created some havoc. So I walked across the street from his office to a restoration company called Restorex in Montana, a guy named Ben McDowell, who has now since passed, and worked for him all through high school and college and my breaks. And after school, was doing after-hours calls as a high school kid, basically. We had pagers back then. It was old enough. It was crazy. And then just worked all the way through. And then in 2007, I decided to start my own business.
When it came to just the people that sort of influenced you to do that, you learned probably from a lot of people along the way.
I've had a lot of influential people. I always go back to my dad. My dad was an optometrist, but he was just a good influence on starting a business. I have an uncle who's been very entrepreneurial based, doing a little bit of everything, hauling fertilizer, custom combining, you name it. And then Ben McDowell himself. So he was very influential for me moving forward. And then his right-hand man was a guy named Will McCammett, who has taught me just about everything I know within the industry. So,
Brody, that last 8 minutes was so interesting because you guys had a 2-score lead, but multiple fourth down stops, and it seemed like the tension was sort of building. But then when you get the fumble recovery, how big of a release was that, both for you and then just everybody on the sideline?
Yeah, we knew going through those last couple series there, we had to get a big stop to keep it out of reach, and getting a couple big ones on the goal line, and then the fumble recovery right there. It was a pretty special way to go out of Bobcat Stadium.
You and 23 other seniors, just can you take us kind of in that moment, sharing with them this is your final game in Bobcat Stadium in the locker room? Just what is the senior group like right now?
They mean the world to me. We're so close, and I think that's what makes this team pretty special. And I mean, I'd not want to do it with any other group of guys.
You guys gave up a couple big runs for scores early in the game. I guess how do you feel you guys just as a group kind of responded after that?
Yeah, they got good players. They had some explosive runs early. We knew we had to get those out because besides that, they weren't having a ton of success. They were getting a couple yards a pop, and that's going to happen in those heavy personnels and stuff like that. But getting those big plays stopped, those explosive plays, that's what helped us in the second half ultimately close out that game.
Your voice is a little hoarse. What do you describe kind of the celebration that you've been going through so far?
Just loving up on my boys. It's a pretty special moment here, coming around in full circle. Win in Bobcat Stadium semifinal game. Pretty surreal moment. Been loving up on my guys.
I asked Tommy this, but if you could pinpoint a moment where you knew this team was special this year, can you pinpoint that moment in your mind?
I don't know about a specific moment. I think it's about the culmination of moments over the spring, over the summer when we decide we're going to take it to another level, that we're not going to be the same team that we have been, that we got to do different things to get to that next step. And so I think just over the course of the year, being able to take it to another level in the weight room with each other, getting to know each other better, and just playing for one another harder and going through those tough moments, adversity over the summer, winter, that's what gets you ready for games like this, where we give up 2 big runs, but we're not scared of a little adversity, and we can come back and be able to make plays.
Coming into this game, there was a lot of talk about South Dakota's offensive line, how good they were. You guys were able to roll like you always do, but you had young guys coming in there and making plays like Dom Solano and Hunter Charbonneau. Can you just talk about those guys and also how much playing 10 guys on the defensive line gives you guys an advantage?
Yeah, well, the offensive line doesn't rotate, so for us to go hockey style, just throwing guys in there and stay fresh when they're slowing down at the end of the game and stuff like that. Going back to fall camp where we're taking double reps, guys are getting a ton of reps and gaining trust from the coaches, showing that they can make plays. Ultimately, that's what leads to those guys being able to go in big games, and Coach Howe being, all right, go in. I'm giving you the reins to go in, make some plays. We trust you, and that's a big deal for us to be able to take some reps off the starters so we can go out there and have our best plays when we're in the game.
Bobcat Stadium was a serious factor today. To go out that way in the stadium with how loud this fan base was, what was that like on defense?
I mean, you see that they're going false starting, I don't know how many times, 4 times probably, making a huge impact on that other fumble that the quarterback got on the snap. He was trying to check a protection to the O-line, and they thought he was snapping the ball. So just things like that, that's what makes Bobcat Stadium so hard to play in for opposing teams, is the crowd noise having a huge factor, so we can go out there, play fast, and they can't communicate.
I guess just speaking of that, those 4th down stops in the red zone that you guys got a couple of times late in the game, it's just what do you remember from those plays and just how big those were at that point in the 4th quarter?
I mean, I don't remember the exact plays, but I just remember how big of moments that they are when you're in a red zone like that, and a huge 4th down stop that could have took a lot of momentum away from us, where it's a 2-score game. They score once and they're in the game, where they have an opportunity like UC Davis. It kind of felt like that game where we had the lead, but we couldn't get a stop there, and then they're back in it. But today we were able to get those stops, and that was huge for our team to keep a little comfort there that we could finish out the game with that 2-score lead.
You mentioned the full circle nature of all this. It feels like every season, 21, 22, 23, every season's kind of stacked on top of each other. I guess now that you guys are in this moment, going back to a national title game, it's just kind of how does that feel, the full circle nature of it?
Yeah, I mean, as a freshman, being able to go in that game and feel like I have an impact and get to be a part of that moment with those guys that I looked up to like crazy. And for it to come around now to my senior year and be one of those guys making plays to finish a game and do it in Bobcat Stadium, that's special. There's nothing like that. And I'm so happy that it was able to go out this way in Bobcat Stadium.
What can you say about Kenny? He's benefited a lot of you getting kind of doubled and chipped and stuff like that, just kind of his overall performance. Another big sack today, so what can you say about Kenny?
He's been doing a hell of a job these last couple, through the end of the Big Sky season and the playoffs. A lot of teams in these last couple games have been chipping me, bringing a running back, tight end, sliding the offensive line 3-over-2 or whatever, and that's fine. But guys got to step up and make plays, and he's doing a heck of a job on that other side, and that's got to happen. And if you're getting one-on-ones, go make plays. And we have a lot of faith in our guys, and we've been through a lot of stuff, and D-line, we're tight, and we're happy for each other when we're making plays. So those are big moments in those games to get the crowd going, the momentum, everything like that.
What was your perspective on Tommy's touchdown when he fumbles the snap but then takes it 50 yards for a score?
It's just Tommy. He's a special player. Be able to make a mess up into a touchdown like that. Plus one run is hard enough to defend, and with that guy running the ball, that makes it even more difficult. So happy for him, and he's a heck of a player. So
Monday you talked about drawing a line in the sand, you and the other seniors, for you to get the final fumble like that. Just how fitting is it to think about, the journey that you guys kind of went through from last year until now, and then you would kind of end the game basically.
Yeah, to end the game like that, knowing it was over, we knew that it was going to come down to one last stop, and for me to be able to do that was a special moment. I'll never forget that.
When you guys got that fourth down stop, right before the end zone, you kind of went to the crowd and told them that, could you take me through that moment a little bit, just looking at the crowd there?
I can't even. Was that in the red zone, or was that?
Well, yeah, it was just short of the first down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was Miles that made we knew that they had to go a ways, whatever it was, 13, 14 yards or whatever, to get it. So got the ball, got him out of bounds, a huge play. And, I mean, Bobcats Stadium got wild. They didn't need my help to get them going. So, yeah.
You can talk about the differences between this one and 21. Similar situation, but what kind of differences, what are the biggest differences between this team and the previous ones that you've been in?
I think there's a lot of similarities with the group, like large group of seniors that have been together through a lot. And I don't know, we have had Coach Vigen for a couple of years now, so I'd say that's the biggest difference. We're all bought into the coaches, everything like that. We're not having any quarterback issues, which is nice. Not the best quarterback in the country, so that's definitely helpful. But yeah, I think that's one of the biggest differences. And then Coach Vigen, the trust that we have in him and the gratitude we have for him and just playing for him.
How excited are you for the next game?
I'm pretty excited. I'm glad it's NDSU. We got something to prove there. So
for the younger guys, I know you guys don't need extra motivation, but how do you kind of keep them focused? Like it's not just getting there, it's finishing the job.
I think this is a really hungry group, and when you have 23 seniors that younger guys are looking up to, I think it's easier that you don't have to necessarily say as much things. The words mean less when the seniors are going at it like it's any other week. We're trying to get better every single week. Right now, we say we're pros right now because we don't have any school. We get to spend all our time with football, focusing on what we love to do. So for them to see us, what we're doing, and then bring them along with us, I think that's the biggest motivational factor for them.
Okay. Is it will you marry me in your future? Or maybe you do it all over again. Hi, I'm Brian Toon with Jewelry Design Center, inviting you to come see the largest selection of Will You Marry Me in the state of Montana. The brightest diamonds of every shape and size, unique settings built to last, and skilled jewelers on site offering free sizing and maintenance for life, because that's how long we want to be your jeweler. Jewelry Design Center in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.
Big Sky Breakdown, proudly presented by the Bobcat Collective at Montana State. The Bobcat Collective is the NIL collective that serves Montana State University student athletes. The collective is partnered with Montana State to connect fans, alumni, businesses, and local nonprofits with Montana State student athletes. Opportunities through the collective allow student athletes to earn compensation while serving the greater Montana State University community. Sign up now for memberships and enjoy automatic entry into raffles for free tickets while supporting the bright minds at Montana State. They have multiple different membership tiers, and you can also be a one-time supporter, and you can also business partner or corporate supporter. Visit bobcatcollective.com for more.
All right, representing the Coyotes today, we got Travis Tice, head coach Bob Nielson, and Dennis Shorter. We'll start with opening comments from Coach Nielson, and then please just direct questions to the two athletes so we can get them back to the locker room, and then we'll go from there. So, Coach, go ahead.
Congratulations to Coach Vigen and Montana State on the win. They're a really good football team. Got a great environment here. We had a great deal of support for them today. I'm really proud of our football team. Got a group that I think if you started the season, there wouldn't be many people that thought we'd be here. Unfortunately, we got a group that's really disappointed because they wanted to keep playing. And thought they showed in the fourth quarter everything that's been good about this football team. A lot of fight, a lot of heart, a bunch of tremendous young men that are a pleasure to coach. Couldn't be prouder of them. Obviously the outcome's not what we wanted, but they set a standard for the University of South Dakota football that going to be hard for future teams to live up to, because this was good.
All right, let's have open questions to the athletes.
Yes, I know the emotions are still pretty fresh right now, but just looking back at what you guys accomplished this season, doing more than any US team had ever done, just how special was it to play with this group and get as far as you did?
It was very special. Like Coach said, like nobody would have expected this in the beginning of the year, but as long as we believed in ourselves and we just trusted each other.
You guys played a lot of really good quarterbacks, a lot of good dual threat quarterbacks. Just what made Tommy Mellott different and so hard to defend today?
He just capitalized off our mistakes. He's a great player, but we can't take it from him. He did a good job today. We just didn't play our best ball of football.
I thought after the first quarter and a half, I thought it really settled in, played great defense in the second half. They were playing a little bit more conservatively, offensively, but we got them off the field and created enough possessions that we had a chance to get ourselves back in the game. We just didn't finish drives very well. But, he's an experienced guy, hard runner. I thought we hit him a lot today. Made him pay for the yards that he got, but he made enough big plays both the front and running the football today to help them put points on the board.
Was there anything you saw on either side that was allowed them to limit the run a little bit more after those first two dash plays, and then same with getting some more pressure kind of later in the game?
They got good pass rushers. Again, when you've got to be one-dimensional offensively, you're not as good. We had to throw the football more than what we wanted to when we were down 2 scores there in the fourth quarter. I thought Aiden did a good job throwing the ball under pressure. We had a couple of chances to make some one-on-one plays that we didn't. And obviously some of the miscues hurt us, which has been atypical. We've been a pretty clean football team, but we have 2 red zone possessions, and we fumble snaps and get ourselves off schedule, and you can't do that against a really good football team like Montana State. It's going to cost you, and eventually it did today.
You talk about Travis and his performance this afternoon.
I've said this a few times. He is just a football player. He loves the game. You could tell, you can tell by watching him play. He loves the game. He's going to give you everything he's got on every snap. Every run he falls forward, gets another couple. I thought he was really good today. And he's been that way for us all year. He's played a little bit banged up at times. But you never know. He's going to be the physical football player that he always is. And honestly, I think of his 6 years here, been one of the real reasons that we've made national playoff runs the last 2 years. It's because of not just his play; it's because of his leadership.
What do you think of the overall environment today?
Well, they got a great crowd. We worked in noise through the course of the week. Caused us a couple of procedure penalties. The one communication error on a bad snap. Aiden was actually checking the play, and I think the center thought he was executing a snap count. It's a hard environment to play in. It's you think about. We had a 1 day shorter week. We had to travel, and then you got to come on the road and play in this environment. It's definitely a home home field advantage for them in the playoffs to be in this round, and I guess we just got to play a little bit better to have that semifinal be at home.
One of the great seasons in your program's history. So what helped you guys get to this point, to the Final Four for the first time?
Well, we've got a group of kids that believe, a group of kids that set a goal to win a championship this year. They won one by winning the Valley Championship, something our program's never done, but that wasn't the one they wanted. They wanted the one that's at the end of the road, hopefully, like I said, the standard's been set now that we want to be a program that year in, year out is playing for a national championship.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.